This is a special presentation from 24-Hour News 8. The State of the State Address.
You are looking live at the Capitol building in Lansing, where in just minutes, Governor Snyder will give his State of the State Address. He will evaluate his first year in office and address the challenges ahead. You will see it all live right here on WXSP, and we'll be streaming it live as well on woodtv.com. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Susan Shaw.
And I'm Brian Sterling. Political reporter Rick Albin just spoke with the governor in a rare meeting. And Rick, what was the conversation like, and what will we hear tonight?
Little surreal. In 30-plus years of covering these around the country, I've never talked to a governor beforehand, but I did talk to him just a few minutes ago. He was very calm, talked about what he wanted to do for the coming year, talked about better government, but we did talk specifically about Detroit and about that new international crossing, the bridge that didn't happen this past year. Well, now the governor is standing right down there, as you can see. He's ready to go into the House chamber. You'll be seeing live pictures from the other side. Just leaned over to give his wife, Sue, a kiss. They're walking in. He's being announced into the other chamber just now. What you will hear him talk about tonight is that bridge is still on his agenda, that the emergency financial manager law that he got changed and put in place is going to be important in the coming days and the coming months as it pertains to the city of Detroit and elsewhere. And he's also going to be talking about implementing some of the policy that he passed last year. He told me it's not so much about changing policy and big events and big issues like we had last year, but instead it's going to be more about seeing the implementation of those and making sure that government is more, as he likes to call it, customer friendly. Now, if you were with us earlier on 24-Hour News 8, you know we talked with Senator Gretchen Whitmer. She had a very different view. She's the leader of the Democrats over in the Senate, and she says that she thinks that the governor should talk about things like education funding when it comes to K through 12 and higher education. She would also like to hear the governor talk a little bit more about doing things that do not tax people. The governor is going to talk about infrastructure and perhaps talk about raising taxes on gasoline, maybe even car registrations. But as we are getting ready for this second State of the State, there is some anticipation that this will not be as ambitious as it was just 1 year ago, but in fact, he will try to take some of the achievements, what he will see as achievements from last year, and talk about how he wants to implement them in this coming year. As you see now, the governor, I believe, has been announced. I don't have the advantage of being able to hear the audio from the House chamber, and now he is walking in. I assume you're seeing that from that camera angle now. So from this point forward, this is the governor's show for the next hour or so. We've seen an outline of the speech. We've talked directly to the governor. You'll hear from the governor tonight at 10 and 11. You'll also hear reaction from people here in the Capitol. We'll look back at that report card to see just how well he did do, in fact, in his first year. And we'll look ahead to what he's proposing tonight. Joe LaFurgia is with me here in Lansing. He's taking a look at some of those critical issues as well. It's an important night for the state as we get ready for the second year of this governor's administration, and also as we get ready for a big election year. And you cannot lose the fact that this speech has at least some political overtones, because Michigan is going to be a very important player in the coming year for the presidential election, and it's also going to be very important over in the House of Representatives, where all 110 members are up for election. Back to you.
Well, Rick, we can see in some of those pictures the governor making his way to the podium there at the Capitol. You know, he goes into this coming off of some good news today on the jobs front, lower unemployment, and also he comes into this with a budget surplus. Talk about that a little bit.
I asked him tonight, when you looked at those new budget numbers, do you take pride, do you take responsibility, or you take a deep breath? I won't tell you exactly what he answered. I'll have that tonight at 10 and 11, but it was a typical answer from this governor. He talked a lot about not taking credit, about not laying blame, but about working forward and working together. I think you're going to hear that throughout this speech tonight. The surplus, in many ways, was a calculated surplus. There was some one-time money that was spent in certain ways last year. There's some money left over. The reality is, out of a $50 billion budget, that's not a huge surplus, but I can tell you there are 148 members of the House and Senate that have a way they'd like to spend it. We'll see what happens about that in the budget debates. But I don't think the governor's going to talk about any real budget specifics tonight. He is going to be talking about two issues that I'm going to be talking about. I'm almost guaranteed to be doing stories about both issues as they may be related to each other in the next 6 months. And that's that new international bridge in Detroit, and also what happens with Detroit's finances.
And Rick, while we're still waiting for the governor to fully take his position there in the House, let's talk a little bit about, and there he is right now, and we will now listen in to Governor Rick Snyder. Thank you, Rick.
Members of the Joint Convention, the Governor of the State of Michigan, Rick Snyder.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Thank you. Appreciate it. Please have a seat. Thank you. Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here tonight. And I would like to start by thanking several individuals and groups. First of all, I want to thank the Speaker of the House, Jace Bolger. Second, I would like to thank my partner in this endeavor, Lieutenant Governor Calley. He's still speaking to me tonight, after last night. I'd also like to thank another key part of our team in success, Senate Majority Leader Richardville. I'd like to thank Senate Majority Leader Whitmer. Minority Leader, sorry about that. I'd like to thank House Democratic Leader Hamill, who's feeling better. The members of the Supreme Court, welcome. Attorney General Schuette. Secretary of State Johnson. I'd like to thank all the members of my cabinet. Thank you for being with us. And ladies and gentlemen of the legislature, thank you for being here and thank you so much. And I'd like to thank all my fellow public servants. Public service is a special thing, so thank you for your service to our state. And I'm happy to see several representatives here tonight, but I want to give special thanks to the men and women of Michigan serving in our armed forces. Thank you for your service. It is truly something special. And then I want to thank all the citizens of Michigan. And finally, but last but not least, I want to give special thanks to my family. In my first State of the State address, I spoke about the need to reinvent Michigan, with job one being jobs. Tonight is a continuation of that journey. In the 1800s, we had the natural resources era, Michigan 1.0. In the 1900s, we had the industrial era, Michigan 2.0. This century, it is time for the era of innovation, Michigan 3.0.